the wild new game show, The Masked Singer, and how he feels about the online push for him to topics with Whoopi, Abby Huntsman, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and Megan McCain.
Welcome to the View. Well, it's nice to be back here. I just got back from Walt Disney World in Florida, where play. They provide the soundtrack, and all of these amazing kids sing. It's really fantastic, and the pastry folks made me a welcome home present that consisted of gingerbread characters, Mickey and everybody, in my present sweaters, in the present sweaters of today. And these are the guys that made it. Next year, because, you know, you don't want to eat it.
Yeah, because it's so beautiful.
Because it's all comes another thing that sits for Christmas in the house.
Cute.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
Santa Claus.
It
women
takes a
getting
real
it done.
woman.
Takes a real woman to get it done in one night.
And they're very shocked to discover that, in fact, Santa is a girl. Is a woman. So it's really nice.
Those elves.
You can get them at Zappos if anybody's interested. But reports say that they're scrambling for a replacement that is fake news. And he says many, over 10, are vying. Lots of people would love to have this gig. I think it's that the individual one, it might be the issue. I don't know. What do you think?
Look at what the Daily News has. Required skills fluent in Russian. Integrity preferred but not required.
That's exactly the problem of why people wouldn't want that job, because one day he's the person's perfect for him, and the next day you wake up and he tweets, "You're fired, you're spineless, clueless flunky, and the worst chief of staff I've ever had."
Yeah.
It's a thankless job, and you have to be a yes man or a yes woman when the job has never...
Spicer, what happened to him? Where is he?
Well, but he was
last I saw, he was hiding behind.
His own chief of staff, really,
well,
right? I mean, he doesn't listen to anyone.
Right.
I know when John Kelly was appointed, I'm thinking, you know, he's this 4-star Marine general. He will be the adult in the room. But it's clear that they clashed, that Trump did not listen to him. And honestly, he came in with this wonderful reputation, and I think the administration actually tarnished that reputation.
I don't agree with that, actually.
He had a lousy
General John
reputation.
Kelly, I think General John Kelly still has...
say, then maybe you would hear me. You know, John Kelly, when he children from their immigrant parents in an effort to deter illegal
if you want to talk
crossings.
about children, he gave a child for our freedom.
Robert
His
Porter.
son died.
That's what I will remember him for. I'm not saying everyone, but that's what I will remember him for, especially when he disparaged a congresswoman, lied about her, and then refused to apologize.
I just think it's weird to be clapping. Whatever you think about his politics, he lost his son in combat for freedom. And again, clapping in that way, again, your call. Everyone can interpret him differently. I do think there are some things that precede politics, and I think service and being in the military and losing a son and being part of a Gold Star family is one of those things. But I agree with the turnout rate. To say that Trump's turnover rate, yes, is high, 62%.
Right.
My father's, again, it's not always about my father, but his staff, I mean, his chief of staff had worked for him for 33 years since he was 18. Joe Donahue, shout out to you, by the way. And I will say Obama's was 24%, Bush's was 33%. So the argument that, yes, it is a thankless job is
What do you mean that Obama was 24%?
he had a low turnover rate.
People that would come in and out of the White House.
People stay. People stay.
They stayed?
Yeah.
Okay.
What I will say, because we haven't talked about it yet, but Nick Ayers.
It was a compliment to President Obama.
I didn't understand.
No, she didn't.
All right.
Nick Ayers, who was chief of staff of Vice President Pence, was apparently the one asked to be the chief of staff for President Trump, and the one that Ivanka and Jared wanted, and they have a big say in these picks. And he said no to it, which was, when I saw that alert on my phone, that was the biggest sign to me that there's concern inside the inner circles of the Pence world and maybe even the Trump world, that you don't want to go down with a sinking ship if that's what's going to happen. You're taking that job.
$1 million in political consulting. They pay that much.
Yeah,
political.
that's a good job.
Wow.
So he doesn't need to take the chief of staff job.
Wow.
Anyone who runs for office is in bankrupt because that's what they're paying.
That sounds, I don't know.
Well,
But the Clintons made hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, if you want to talk about people making money off of politics, that's a slippery slope for all parties.
The Clintons were the president of the United States for 8 years, and his wife was the Secretary of State and ran for president.
The Clinton Foundation got Saudi money that is highly nefarious, and it doesn't exist anymore.
I guess only Republicans are allowed to make money in this world.
No, not all. We're capitalists. We actually like when people make money, unlike Democrats.
No, I have. I will say that they gave. No, I don't know if anybody believes in democratic socialism.
Doesn't Joy? I don't.
I do.
Well, we have.
You were a fan of Bernie Sanders' ideology.
I believe that the poorest people in the world should be taken care of, that the middle class should have a stake.
Republicans don't.
Wait a second. Can I finish?
Go ahead.
I use the model of Scandinavia, where people are taken care of. Their colleges are paid for. Child care is paid for. When they're out of work or they're down on their luck, this society takes care of them and gives them a leg up. I believe in that. I do. I've experienced it myself. After I was fired from my many jobs, I was privileged to be able to collect unemployment insurance, for instance, which took care of me while I got my foot up. Excuse me. Which I got my foot up, and I started walking again. Yeah. And I think that those kinds of things help people. If that's a democratic socialist, that's what I am.
All right. We'll be back.
On the 12 days of you, Miss the ladies gave to me 12 whoopee sweaters, 11 Abby claps, 10
Who cares?
8, view your deal. 7, red hot topics. 6, belting. 5, Sunny, I love it. I love it. 4, Bernie Barks. 3, Austin Hens. 2, Idris Smiles. And the ladies wishing you happy holidays.
Later, Ken Jeong on the star-studded new game show, The Masked Singer, and this season's hottest holiday toys.
Welcome back. Apparently, there's another job that it seems nobody wants, and apparently that's the host the Oscars. They continue to look for a replacement now that Kevin Hart stepped down. Ken Jeong's name has been mentioned. He's here today, and Variety reports they're also thinking about having a no-host year this year.
That's a good idea.
Really?
It'll cut 5 hours off, first of all.
In fact, the funny thing is the show, I don't ever think there's anything you can do really to not make the show long. The show is what it is. People come up and they make their speeches. This is their one shot that they get to do this. And, just because they don't know or you don't know who they are, doesn't change the fact that they've done something that they've been trying to do their whole life.
Yeah.
It's a huge deal to win an Oscar.
Yeah.
And,
It is.
I've always felt that folks didn't understand what it does, because, we don't judge the same way the film-going public does. We're not, when we have to judge the actors and I have to judge the film. Are they doing what they're supposed to be doing? Is it this or is this one better? That's what we're looking at. So our decisions feel very different sometimes. Not always, but sometimes.
But the network seems to want ratings for it. They want it to be entertaining all at the same time.
Well, yes.
But
So
also,
it's
public opinion never seems satisfied with whoever the host is.
No, they have over the years.
Well, in recent years, it seems like every time they have a host, you go on Twitter and everyone's just writing how it's not funny.
But that's what Twitter is. That's what Twitter is. That's why people don't want to do it.
That's what I'm saying. But how sad is that? Maybe that's our fault.
One of my producers, Stephanie, her brother's a comedian, and they work in comedy, and I've worked with comedians before. I wrote a book with a comedian, and I think comedy is important, as I said yesterday on the show, because I think pushing boundaries in our culture is always going to be important. And what's interesting is all the comedians that have been asked to host the Oscars or were thrown around, Tiffany Haddish, Donald Glover, Sarah Silverman, Tina Fey, Jon Stewart, Dave Chappelle, Stephen Colbert, they all have and quietly,
well,
people feel like it's a new kind of safe space.
Over the
well, I think that, we've all overcorrected. Gay people don't want to read that stuff coming out of somebody they support. They just don't. It's just like black people don't think these jokes are funny, and white people don't think these jokes are funny, and blondes don't think these jokes are funny. So we're in that mishmash right now.
Well, what do you think the answer is, Whoopi? I mean, there's no host. I think one thing that they're thinking about doing is using a bunch of huge celebrities, something like SNL,
and it didn't work.
And it didn't work, right? So what do you think the answer is? I mean,
a hologram of Bob Hope. That would help. Bring the dead back.
I mean, it just seems to me like the host moves it along, and I love the opening numbers. You did it in,
for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Here's the deal.
The costumes are beautiful.
If you want to go hostless, that's your prerogative. I think it's a dumb idea because people need somebody to take them through things and to take care of things when they happen. Now, I realize I may not be anybody's first choice, but...
I would 100% have
because I'm also problematic. Sometimes one half of the country, this is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Half of the country sometimes is really mad at me. The other half is okay until tomorrow, and then they're pissed at me.
Can I interject?
Yeah.
You all think I'm a hardcore conservative, right? I endorse Whoopi as the host. So people on my side, please, do not come for her.
I don't think you can do it without the
I don't think think you need somebody to take people through. I think you do, and it has to be somebody who loves the films, because when you get films that nobody's heard of, that person who is telling you about that film or saying this is what's coming up has to be able to have the wherewithal to say, listen, you've never heard of this film, I know that, you know that, but you're going to learn something new. We'll be right back.
You can still get a holiday head start at viewyourdeal.com. We partnered with vendors for at least half off some of this season's hottest items. So get there now.
Yes, Whoopi.
You have something.
Yes, I do. No matter where you're heading for the holidays, you can take all your favorite movies with you, thanks to a brand new free app from Disney and other studios called Movies Anywhere. It holds your entire digital movie collection in one place with one password. And today, they're giving members of our studio audience digital downloads of 10 beloved holiday movies. They're really good.
Good. Yay.
I think Elf is in here, which is one of my favorites.
Listen, I saw a guy with a shirt the other day with a picture. But listen, that's one of the 10 greatest. Yeah, I know him.
But he says you sit on the throne of lies.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
It's a wonderful
Oh, look,
film.
it's a Christmas tree. When he's in the elevator and he presses all the buttons. I love that
It's
movie.
fun.
So
anyway, you know, the media has always seemed to portray Jennifer Aniston as unlucky in love. But she doesn't think she's unlucky. She says even though she's divorced Brad Pitt and Justin Theroux, she considers both marriages very successful. And I think she's right. You know, successful marriages also end in divorce sometimes. Sometimes there are different reasons people get divorced. It's not because you fall out of love, or sometimes it's because you can't. It's not for you. Not, speaking like I know anything. You know.
Sometimes the first marriage is basically a test run.
Sometimes. But the third or fourth can really...
First marriage a failure at all.
No.
And also, I was there, and this is what I was doing then. Then I changed, and I became this.
Yeah.
And that's the way
Also,
it is.
some people stay together just for the kids, and they have a terrible marriage. And I actually think I always advise my friends that go through this, be happy, because your kids would be so much prouder of you as they get older, knowing they've made the right decision for them. And it's a happy household.
Well, sometimes you stay for the children. It's not that simple, especially if you don't have money. You stay for the children and you stay for yourself, and you don't just walk away. Women have trouble walking away.
But something I've always struggled with, because I grew up really religious, Mormon, and obviously getting a divorce, you're supposed to be married for eternity, forever.
Now think about that. Eternity.
Oh, yeah. Whoopi, I could go on forever about getting married in a Mormon church. But the caveat I would say is I struggled with that because the other part of religion for me is don't judge. Who are we to say someone else's marriage is a failure? I always hated that. Leave that to God to do. So
forever and through eternity. But the one thing, and I don't agree that if you end up in divorce, the marriage wasn't successful. But that's just my understanding. But I thought what was strange was, you know, my friends are all thinking about the one, like the one. There's this one, and there really
Did you just take us to the next subject?
Oh, I did.
I think you did.
Yeah.
But he just yeah.
It's okay. I don't want to talk about my marriage.
We'll be right back.
Hey, it's Ken Jeong, and I'm back at
the documentary that you just produced, Paris to Pittsburgh, shows some of the ways the current administration has rolled back progress in the area of climate change. So I always ask the same question. Don't politicians who are who are deniers or who roll back things, don't they have to breathe the same air that you and I have to breathe?
Absolutely do. And it went from Paris to Pittsburgh when he said he was there to protect people from Pittsburgh, and the mayor of Pittsburgh stood up and said, we breathe the same air that they breathe in Paris.
Yeah.
And that's where the name of the movie came from. And how they can walk away from something. You go to Iowa, a third of all their energy comes from windmills. Talk to the farmers. They see it every day. There are droughts. There are floods. Crops grow differently. And in fact, we interviewed some people who were training to be engineers and fix all the windmills. And it's a great job for young kids out of school. And because everybody's going to need them for an awful long time. They can travel around the world. It's everything.
Do you think we're too far gone now to fix the climate change?
I hope not.
Do you think we should do nuclear power like much of Europe?
I've never objected to nuclear power. It hasn't killed anybody, but it's so controversial, you're not going to have it here. It is carbon neutral. It has shown to be reasonably safe, but it would take forever to get it in. So it's just a non-starter, and it's not worth it.
Do you think President Trump actually... Do you think he believes in what he says when Sarah Sanders says this is not based on fact when it's a report from the own administration? Or do you think they're trying to just appease what they think the base wants to?
It is really hard when you look outside or when you watch television, you see the forest fires and the floods and 3 feet of rain in South Carolina. How can you not believe that something isn't changing? And how can you not listen to all the great scientists in the world, or virtually all of them? So I don't know. I can't speak for what Donald Trump says or why. You got to ask him.
Well, the film also looks at Casa Pueblo in Puerto Rico.
Right.
It's just amazing. It runs largely on renewable energy and was one of the only places that was operable after Hurricane Maria. And as Puerto Rico rebuilds, what opportunities do you think exist to prevent this kind of massive power failure that we saw from happening again? I mean, it was one of the only places when I was there, people were saying that they could charge their phones.
You have to build to a higher standard. You have to understand there are going to be big storms. So you don't just put up a wooden pole that can come down in the wind. You put up a cement pole with steel to hold it up. You know you're going to have more hurricanes. You know you're going to have more big winds. So build for it. Build your houses a lot stronger. People say that's a great idea, but not my house.
Right. And in terms of renewable energy, I mean, solar panels, that kind of thing.
If they, after seeing that, don't urge everybody in the world to stop polluting, I don't know what would get you to stop polluting.
Okay, I just want to say before we go that Michael Bloomberg also gave $1.8 billion to Johns Hopkins University so that no young, poor people have to pay for their education. His new documentary, Paris to Pittsburgh, airs Wednesday night on National Geographic. An updated edition of his best-selling autobiography, Bloomberg by Bloomberg, will be out January 7th. We'll be right back.
Does the Oscar and Emmy-winning writer of The West Wing think truth is stranger than fiction in D.C. right now? Aaron Sorkin is live on The View next. This week, look who's hitting The View. Ken Jeong, Leah Remini, Armie Hammer, Felicity Jones, Leslie Mann. And, oh wait, did I mention Jennifer Lopez? Yes! Jennifer will be here Wednesday. And it wouldn't be Happy Holidays at The View without Darlene Love. Baby, please come on. Plus, special guest Bryan Adams. This week on The View on ABC.
It all centers around my dog. His name is Chaos.
I'm Bohemian Boho. And he's like, oh, the pen you got me? I love that pen.
I just typed in red ballet shoes.
I want to find pieces that represent who I am, and that's what I get from Etsy.
He handed me a box, and it was a necklace with my dog's name on it. I get a lot of compliments on these. Something handmade and personalized on Etsy comes with, like, love. Go to Etsy.com for anything you want.
Ever notice how hard it is to clean impossible bathroom messes with spray cleaners? Try Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. Just add water, squeeze, and erase. It's perfect for cleaning stubborn bathroom soaps.
Ken Jeong on how he's handling being on board the wildest, star-studded new game show, The Masked Singer. And stumped about what kids want this holiday? We are unveiling this season's hottest toys they want under the tree this year.
The man behind Oscar and
and Emmy-winning works like The Social Network and The West Wing has adapted an American classic for the Broadway stage that's as relevant today as it was when it was first written. Harper Lee's historic novel, To Kill a Mockingbird. Please welcome Aaron Sorkin. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
It's I love the play. I just told you that at the break. I went to see it, and it's phenomenal. But it's a very interesting time now in this country. We were just talking to Michael Bloomberg about it, and you've written a few political dramas in your day. What's your take on everything that's going on in the White House? I mean, is this giving you even more material to work with?
Well, you know, there's what's going on in the White House, and then there's what's going on with all of us in the country. And one of the things that happens in the play is that Atticus sort of wakes up to the fact that he didn't really know who his friends and neighbors were. And I think that a lot of us, anywhere on the ideological spectrum, have felt the same way for the last 2 years, that we kind of woke up saying, I had no idea that they, whoever they is for you, felt that way.
Yeah, that's so true. Sometimes to calm myself, I will pull up old episodes of The West Wing. I love that show so much. You can really watch it at any time.
Thanks. Well, it was, you know, The West Wing, again, no matter where you are on the ideological spectrum, it was about a group of hyper-competent people who were dedicated to public service, and they were going to slip on banana peels a lot, and they were going to lose as much as they won, but you knew for sure that when they got up in the morning, they cared about you.
Is there going to be a
Netflix right now? I believe
Netflix.
One of those.
It is. I didn't want to do a plug, but yes, it is.
Well, you can tell us this. Is there going to be a reboot? I think people have been aching for that. Sterling K. Brown, who's awesome, it was rumors that he'd be happy to do it.
And God knows we'd be happy to have him. You know, the cast and I, we have dinner once every 3 months or so. It's something we'd love to do, but we're also very protective of the memory of the show. And so I don't want it to be a kind of Brady Bunch reunion. So if I can get a good idea, which is something that doesn't happen very often, then I'll do it. But otherwise, it'll just have to stay on.
It's not a no.
It's not. I'm not slamming the door on it.
Yeah. You know, one hot topic that constantly comes up is Facebook. And Facebook has been under fire recently for selling off political data, lobbying against George Soros, covering up Russian election meddling, among all the other scandals. You obviously wrote an entire movie about how the CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, got in over his head when he originally created Facebook from his college dorm room. Did you see all this coming?
I don't think anybody could have seen that coming. Now, first of all, I have to tell you, I know more about Facebook in 2005 than I know about it in 2018. But I read the paper like anybody else. You know, Mark, talk about being in over his head. It just seems like the water keeps climbing no matter how far his nose gets to the surface. But there's definitely an interesting movie in what you just described.
So let's talk about To Kill a Mockingbird. You call this project a suicide mission for yourself. Why do you say that?
Well, To Kill a Mockingbird is one of the most beloved novels in American literature. In fact, last month, PBS viewers voted it the most beloved novel. What could I do but make it less than what it was? So knowing that on any given night, most people in the audience will either have read the book or seen the movie or both. I was nervous going into it, but then at some point you just have to make the decision. I'm not going to swaddle the book in bubble wrap and gently transfer it to a stage. That's not what theater is for. So this play is not an homage. It's not an exercise in nostalgia. It's not a trip to the museum. This is a new play that takes a new look at To Kill a Mockingbird because, and nor did I pretend that I was writing it in 1960 when Harper Lee wrote it. I was writing it today.
How would she feel about it, do you think? About what you did?
I've asked that question before, and I've been asked that question before, rather. And the last thing she did before she passed away was approve me as the playwright who was going to do it.
So, great.
So that's nice. That said, listen, you mentioned The West Wing. I wrote the first 4 seasons of The West Wing before I had to leave the show. The first time I saw an episode of The West Wing not written by me, I needed CPR. So I imagine that a stranger making new words come out of the mouth of her beloved characters would not thrill her, but what I hope is that she would understand that the playwright had a deep love and respect for her novel. But the thing is, things have changed in 58 years. It's time to take a new look at Atticus. When you know, most of us, we were taught the book in middle school, and we were taught that Atticus's tolerance, his idea that there's goodness can be found in everyone, and all you have to do is crawl around in someone else's skin, and you'll get to know them, that was a virtue. And in the book, in the movie, Atticus has the answers. In the play, he struggles with these questions. Is being tolerant of intolerance a virtue?
I thought that the play really stayed true to the spirit of the book. And in fact, this book was mandatory reading for me when I first went to law school. It was on our reading list at Notre Dame. And what's striking when you're watching the play is how relevant the story feels in 2018, because you've got a small-town lawyer in the Deep South defending an innocent black man against a white woman's rape allegation.
Right.
And you say you were influenced by Charlottesville.
Yeah, here's how. In going back and looking at the book again, and realizing that that Atticus insists on others being understood, that you have to understand Bob Ewell, who was a member of the Klan, as a guy who he just lost his job, so that's going to make him feel small. You have to understand Mrs. DuBose, who's just a horrible racist, as a woman who she recently stopped taking her medication. That's why she's like that. You have to understand the 12 jurors who sit in judgment over Tom Robinson as who they are. Started to sound an awful lot to me like there were fine people on both sides. Now, in the case of Atticus Finch, that is coming from a good place. He means well. He's wrong, but he means well. In the case of the person who actually said it, I can't say the same thing. But the play takes a harder look at whether or not Atticus is right.
Some people are just racist.
Well,
they are. True. Some people are just racist, and there's no two sides to the story.
I really hope that people will go see this play because it's fantastic. Thanks to Aaron Sorkin.
Thanks so much.
To Kill a Mockingbird is in previews now. It opens December 13th at the Shoebridge Theater. Please go see it. We'll be right back.
Next, get a holiday head start on View Your Deal. We partnered with vendors for at least half off this season's hottest items that have your gift list covered.
Give dry skin the elbow.
If you're starting to freak out like me over getting holiday shopping done, we're making it a lot easier for you. We've partnered with vendors for at least half off some of this season's best gift ideas while supplies last. So let's get shopping with Lifestyle Experts.
I got your can't go wrong gifts right here, girl. Don't you worry. First one up, Hoodoos. Check these Sherpa socks out. They're lined Sherpa all the way down, cozy, comfortable. Give the gift to cozy. Who doesn't love that? It's a no-brainer gift. Also, headbands and mittens go online. Tons for men and women. Easy to gift. Gift yourself or anyone else. Original price on these, Sunny, $25 to $30. Today's deal, you're not going to believe it, $12.50 to $15. Next one I love for you is K. Carroll. Check this out. I know I dipped that. K. Carroll. This is the most modern tote, you guys, because it's a carry-all, but it's smart. It has 8 pockets, 4 exterior, 4 interior, and the interior ones have RFID lining. That's the security lining for our cards so that we keep our personal information safe.
Oh, that's
all
good.
All of these colors are all year round, and so is the fabric. So it's a smart gift to give if you want to give a great accessory. Phones on the outside, keys, credit cards on the inside. Isn't that easy to get in and out of?
Good.
Oh, an extra wide strap so that it's comfy. Original price on these, $60. Can't believe it, $25. Wow. Savings of more than half off. I'm dying to show you these. Now, you are going to love it. Erin Condren. Okay, so she has a collection of gorgeous little journals. This is when you want to get your game next level for the new year. This is the collection to do it. Journals, planners.
Planner.
Amazing. And what I brought you, because you know it's a gifting day, check out this little metallic stationery set for 15 different occasions.
Birthday, thank
every
you.
card you ever needed but couldn't find. Original price on these,
good.
$6 to $40. Today's deal, $3 to $20.
That's really good.
You're going to love that.
That's good.
Pink House style. Oh, I love these. Assorted Julie. When you want to give glam and bling and you want it to look like a lot but cost a little, this is Pink House. Biggest assortment I've ever brought you of great. I have it all on. Check it out. See my bracelets? I stacked them up and put them on because more is more here. These are designed to go with anything they already have or you already have. So earrings, which I love, necklaces, bling on the wrist, see? And it's super adjustable so no one gets stuck with the wrong size. Original price on these, $14 to $76. Today's deal, $5 to $28 plus free shipping for you. This is for you too, my love.
Oh, thank you.
Spriggs, you're going to love this. Check out this. This is Spriggs, and this is a cold weather accessory. But, put it on. Fingerless gloves on one side. It's got a pocket.
Because if you're going out to the chicken coop, you need to use your fingers.
And she can store her phone, her keys, her credit cards, all her necessities. So if you want to lighten your load or gift on your list, this is great.
That's
the other one, you guys, is this. I love this for going sightseeing, going to the gym. Check this out. Pocket here, zipper pocket here, super safe. And one for the arm. Original price on these, $15 to $28. Today's deal, $7 to $14. Saving 50 to 55%. I think these are so smart.
These are
Did
good.
you see the little wristlets?
I like
and
that.
And also for your arm. Now, I can't wait to show you this because I know that you will love this. Biaggi. So Biaggi creates, they have a whole line of foldable luggage and accessories. These are the two new must-have pieces because whether we travel or we have someone on our list that's a traveler, we want it to go easy, right? So check it out. The first one is that you're going to go from carry-on and it expands into a checked luggage piece. You just zip this and it expands. It's right down there.
How much is this?
Yeah, amazing. And the next one is under seat that expands into an overhead size. Price is original $25 to $170. Today's deal, $12.50 to $85 for the genius gift of Biaggi luggage.
Well, our thanks to Greta Monahan. The clock is ticking. You have 24 hours to grab any of these exclusive deals at viewyourdeal.com. Members of our studio audience are going home with gifts from Biaggi, Pink House jewelry, and a rich wallet from Spriggs. Have a great day, everyone, and take a little time to enjoy.